Hey, my friends, I just want to shout out to you a little bit tonight about movies. I'm a movie junkie. I've been loving going to the movies since I first started watching them seriously about age 7. I mean, I really got into the movies early in life as a kid, and I just loved going to the theater, watching double features. Cost us a dime, maybe 25 cents to get in, see a couple of movies. And they had cartoons and previews and all kinds of other newsreels and stuff back then. They don't have that so much now. But one of the reasons I love the movies is it's an escape from the reality of life. It's a little mini escape. I mean, I wouldn't want to be doing it 24/7 all day long, nothing but movies. There's a time and a place for movies. But I enjoy watching one a day when I can. I average probably 5 movies a week, either at home or going out to the theater still, which is, I prefer going to the theater for many reasons, but there are a lot of advantages watching them at home with a nice big screen TV, the ability to stop the movie and get up and take a bathroom break or get a snack. But that does interrupt the flow of the film. It's not watching it the way the filmmaker intended the movie to be watched, with some continuity from beginning to end, and especially in a big dark theater with an audience of strangers. There's something about that that's really special, even though I don't like being in a crowded theater with a lot of people, strangers sitting right next to me. Nothing to do with COVID, it's just I've never really liked being crammed in with other people. I like a little space. I don't like a head blocking me in front. I don't like people behind me kicking the seat. I don't like people next to me with their cell phones lit up. So I prefer a little space around me where I can enjoy the movie in peace and quiet. I certainly don't like people there that if I take them with me or go with me talking during the movie. That's a no-no for me. I want to be focused on the film that I paid and the time I'm taking to see the movie. Movies basically for me have been a revelation in a lot of ways to things that have helped me learn in life. When I can identify with a character in the movie, all the better. I mean, that a lot of times is what happens. I'll pick certain characters in the film and I can relate to them, what they're going through on the screen. Sometimes it mirrors things I've gone through in my life, maybe in similar or slightly different ways. But that gives me something to hang my hat on with a character, sort of cheer for them, as it were, a little bit, when there's a person that's going through some different situations in the movie that they have to overcome, conflict or obstacles, and then in the end see how they deal with it. That could be a lot of fun. But escapism is certainly part of watching a movie. Now, why do we like movies so much? It's nothing new. They're stories. People have been telling stories since people developed language. I believe sitting around the campfires and communal situations, people that would in the next morning get up and analyze their dreams, interpret dreams, that sort of thing. There's some storytelling going on there when we convey what our dream was. That's like a little mini movie we saw in our head that we tell someone else about, and they help us figure out maybe what it meant. I also love, after seeing a movie, to do a film review, and I do that a lot on YouTube. I've done plenty of it when I was on other social media. Still do them with Twitter, and I did on Instagram for years. And I love telling people, sharing my idea about what a film was, why I liked it or didn't like it. And if I go see the film with someone or watch it at home with my wife, we always discuss the film a little bit after it. What did she like about it? What did she not like? What did we learn from the film? If there was anything to pick up in terms of information to learn. Not all films are going to give you valuable lessons. Sometimes it's just for fun. It's a movie maybe to laugh a little bit and just be ridiculous and enjoy the laughter. The film I saw tonight, The Innocents, very creepy, scary film. But it scared me in, I think, a positive way, because it taught me a little bit in my head, I guess, about the meaning of good and evil. What is it? Where can you find evil in life? Well, it's all around in the world. You don't have to go very far sometimes to find evil. It's out there. It inhabits people, sometimes animals. It's in nature, in dark places. But some of it is just in our imagination. We conjure up the concept of evil sometimes and project it out there. So there's a lot of ambiguities and room there to discuss and talk about good and evil, good and bad, and that sort of thing that we have as a concept. Most films, the conflict in the film involves a good guy and a bad guy, or I say a lot of films, maybe not most, but an awful lot of films have good and bad guys. Adventure action movies almost always do. And there's a certain fundamental quality to that I think appeals to most of us, is seeing the good guys and then get knocked down by the bad guys, and then mostly the time they overcome the bad guys and triumph but occasionally they don't. Sometimes the bad guys went out in the end and leaves us a little concerned or depressed maybe at the end, and maybe some more food for thought to consider why did that happen. Such as the Alien movies or the Matrix movies. They left you hanging at the end as to, oh my God, what's going on here? I just think overall movies are something that continue to be developed today. In many respects, there are better movies being made than ever before. But on the other hand, there's more bad movies being made than ever before because there's so many being created today. The movie industry is mushroomed, although I see a certain danger in the movie system today by and large that theaters may not be around that much longer. I'm concerned because in this last year, 2 years, I've been going to the movies when they were open, and the last year in particular, the year before that, in 2020, they were shut down almost everywhere. And then they reopened gradually, first with masks. You had to wear a mask sitting in a movie theater. Can you imagine? I ate because they allowed you to take the mask off when you were eating. And I ate one piece of popcorn at a time, so I stretched it out for 2 hours, eating my snack and my drink. But now, of course, that's been relaxed and people are coming back, but still not in big numbers, except for the blockbusters such as the Spider-Man movie or Doctor Strange, which had quite a few people attending the first week or two. Then they drop off. Other movies that I've gone to see that in the past would have had 25, 35 people, 4 or 5. I've been to a few movies that I didn't see anyone else in the theater. I was the only one. This is not good for the movie theaters in general. They're losing business. They depend on people coming, not only buying tickets, but getting popcorn and concessions. And as there's more awareness about how horrible it is to drink sodas, that has to be hurting them that people don't buy sodas anymore. When they charge $6 a bottle for a water, a lot of people are sneaking their own water in. And so I don't know what to say about that. I think the movie theaters need to be thinking about offering a little bit healthier treats besides the popcorn, which I occasionally do indulge in, of course. But I think movie theaters, the drive-in theaters are just about gone now. You don't see too many drive-in theaters. And in the past, they used to be very popular for people to take their cars out and watch generally a double feature at the drive-in and take the whole family. And they could, it's just because of the proliferation today of the big screen, flat screen TVs that look so great. Now you got HD, 4K, Blu-ray, all this sort of thing, streaming. And the television, the big screen, if you have a 70-inch or bigger, which we have now, it's really impressive, especially if you sit up fairly close. It almost looks as good as being at a movie theater. Now, that being said, unless you have a super large speaker system with great amplification and subwoofer and all this, and you're able to play it really loud, even then, you're not going to approach the dynamics that you can get in a big movie theater. Sound systems in big movie theaters nowadays have never been better. So, in fact, sometimes they play it a little too loud. And me being a little hard of hearing, that's probably a good thing because then I can absorb that loud volume. It doesn't hurt my ears as bad as it used to when I was more sensitive to loud sounds. But I love the big movie theater experience. It really is my favorite way to see a movie. And the cost today, it's around $10 for me or less sometimes to go. I still buy movies online through eBay mostly, Blu-ray and regular DVD sometimes, or rent them at the library or check them out at the library. And that's my favorite way of watching film. I stream a little bit, but that seems to be the going way. Most people watch movies today is streaming. I just think that movie films, it's an art form many times. It's a wonderful art form, but it's not always artistic. Majority of films probably you wouldn't call them great art. I would say probably 75% of films that are being made today, cranked out, especially in the United States, not that artistic, but there are some that are. I lean a lot towards documentary films today. I love documentaries. Independent films are one of my favorite type movies to see because they're sometimes so much more creative and inventive than the formula stuff that comes out of Hollywood, the big studio films. But you're seeing a lot of quality films being made through these, or I say smaller, they're actually big companies now, such as Apple, one of the biggest companies on the planet, Netflix, not a small company, Amazon, one of the biggest companies on earth as far as corporate and size and, net worth. These are big outfits, but they are putting their money into making some really, really quality films. And not as much today through MGM, Paramount, Universal, and 20th Century Fox, although they still distribute a lot of films. so I won't discount them entirely. But I like the independent films. Foreign films, I still enjoy quite a bit. Don't mind reading subtitles. In fact, I prefer subtitles on all my films. Again, the hearing thing, it just helps me a lot to see and understand every word that's being spoken in the film. And I really get aggravated at Criterion because when I have their DVDs, Blu-rays, they very rarely have subtitles. I think that's a real affront and insult to the hearing impaired, people who might want to watch a quality film, a Criterion film with all their great added special features, and they're not going to be able to enjoy it if they can't read a subtitle. So Criterion, wake up. Please start putting subtitles. I've written that to them several times, but so far they don't seem to be hearing what I have to say. So that's all I'm going to say tonight on films. I've been a movie critic before on television, on public access TV. I do film reviews, as I say, on YouTube, so you can go back and check if you want to go back on my YouTube channel. I have close to 1,000 videos now, and a fair number of them are movie reviews of different types. And I'm going to continue doing that because for me, it helps me reflect on the movie that I saw and have more of an appreciation for it. And I just get a lot of joy and pleasure out of giving a critique. I don't know if you're into that sort of thing or not, but I think it's a fun way to embellish the experience of going to see a movie, is to do a little movie critique and review for your friends or family, if nothing else. So that's all I got to say tonight. Maybe I'll see you at the movies.